Welcome to Beyond the Games, your daily insight into Guernsey 2023. Proudly sponsored by SG Kleinwort Hambros Bank Limited, Guernsey branch and Jersey branch.
Shooting has taken Noel Duquemin around the world, making friends along the way. The Island Games has been a special part of that career, including picking up one very unexpected gold medal. I'd like to just start off by going right back to where it began with you and shooting and your love affair with the sport.
My love of shooting for the sport was basically I lived with my grandparents on what was originally a farm, and obviously we had vermin and everything, and of course I wanted to assist in killing off the rats or the vermin that were around, sort of thing. And he said, well, if you're going to learn to shoot, you go to a club and learn properly. So I joined the North United Air Rifle Club, and since then I haven't looked back probably on all shooting, basically.
And what keeps you in the sport to this day, like such a longevity with that?
I think it's down to the individual, because each competition, it's really a challenge against yourself. And it's up to you how well or how good you really want to get. If you want to go far, you have to put a lot of training as well in, sort of thing. So, yes.
And talking about going far, obviously, in your career with shooting, it's taken you all over.
Career, yeah, I'm quite lucky in that it's basically got me halfway around the world. Canada, New Zealand, with the Commonwealth Games. Having qualified to go with the free pistol event, which is 50 metres aiming at a 2-inch bull. So it's a marathon of pistol shooting that was in the Olympics. It's now not come out of the Olympics, but was one of the most difficult pistol shooting events there was.
And do you have any particular memories of that time as well, at the Commonwealth?
Oh, I have some very good memories of those times. I mean, not necessarily just because of the shooting, but also because of the camaraderie you made with other teams and other members, and people who'd never heard of Guernsey, and obviously, where is it, sort of thing, you know. So yes, I mean, we made some friends from around the world. Even during the Island Games now, I think we call ourselves almost a family if we see the same people at each Island Games.
I mean, I guess, and shooting is really one of those sports where Guernsey does compete on an international stage as well.
Yes, Guernsey's done very well on the international stage. In pistol shooting, I know of 6 different pistol shooters that have actually made English teams either for Great Britain and or the Olympics. So yes, we've done quite well. Yeah.
And looking at the Island Games as well, what drove you to want to qualify this time round for Guernsey?
To qualify this time round, obviously being at home, it wasn't just those who could, that shoot well. It's those. It's had to be they choose the best. In other words, we've had what we call qualifying rounds. And the qualifying rounds, I mean, if you come out on top on that, that's where you are likely to get selected. Not necessarily, but because you may be falling off nearer the games, and then somebody else could, if they're close, can come up and still go, basically, up to the last minute of when the entries are necessary. Yeah.
And what are your expectations this time round?
I'm afraid my expectations for Olympic skeet are I'd like to finish somewhere at least halfway up the table of the visiting teams, so that if I do better than that and the top 6 get into the final, if I could make that, I'd be over the moon with that for myself personally.
And why Olympic ski as well this time? It's a different discipline.
Because unfortunately my eyesight is now starting to suffer. I've got to wear glasses, and that's not helping with the pistol definition of sights, basically. So I'm choosing something with a shotgun which gives you quite a big spread out to 30 metres, and gives you a chance of hitting the 4-inch disc that you've got to aim at.
And for people thinking about coming along and watching the shooting, what can they expect?
Well, they can expect to see basically what it's all about and the rules that go with it, because they're quite strict. For Olympic skeet, the two clays that come out together have to both be shot within the confines of the range. So you only have about 1.25 seconds to be able to hit both of them. So and they're both going in different directions. So that's where it becomes more difficult.
And what makes a good shooter? What from your experience?
What makes a good shooter is someone who doesn't panic, I think, and accepts that whatever they're going to do, it's down to them to do it and hit the target. And
do you expect the games to be a good impetus for the sport? I suppose it gives it good exposure. So,
yes, I think. Unfortunately, the press we hear the press gets a lot of bad press for shooting, not because of target shooting, but because of other individuals who have probably not had the experience of being brought up the right way to treat guns with what they are. They are a machine to do a job, whether it's, unfortunately, wars where they've started from. And now, on target shooting, as I said before, I think it's you against yourself, and it's up to you to be able to hit the target, whichever it is, whether it's a pistol target, whether it's a clay target. Yeah.
And I guess one of the other beauties about shooting is a sport that all ages can take part in.
Sport can be for all ages. Our club has had a shooter who was basically 90 and still enjoyed every week coming down to the range and having a go. And sometimes he did very well, and other times obviously he was not happy. But it's one of those things that it's as good as what you can do.
And I think you touched on this a little bit earlier, but games is also a chance to reconnect with people that you've met in the past as well. Are there any rivals that you're expecting to come over and do well? What is?
Probably in the pistol shooting, I would know more rivals than I do for the shotgun, the Olympic skeet, because over the years that's the mainstay of where I've been. But this year, obviously, I haven't qualified due to my eyesight not being as good as it was, and I'm also getting very old.
You might be getting old, but still very much involved in the sport, and still
I'm very much involved in the sport.
Well, what kind of training is involved?
We're training now. We're managing to get an extra day's training down at our range at Portinfer instead of just the Sunday morning for 2 hours, 3 hours. We're now training Saturday mornings as well. So we're concentrating on the different stands that we have to shoot, of all 8 stands. On the ones that we're not doing very well, we're concentrating obviously the training on those particular stands.
And there's much of advantage to being at home as well.
I would think there is some slight advantage of being at home, because we're using the range, and obviously from the point of view of preparing yourself to take the shot, you are looking for what we call pick-up points of where the gun barrels should be before you actually call for your bird to come out and obviously have a go. And of course the birds, you don't know when they're coming out, because it could be either instantly or 3 seconds later. So your concentration must be there. Yeah.
And good to be in front of a home crowd.
And being on the home ground, I would hope that we have got some sort of advantage, certainly for some of our shooters who I think have got a chance of certainly bringing back some medals or winning some medals.
And do you get to pass on your experience as well to some of the younger team members?
Oh yes, I'm actually training a couple of pistol shooters. I was training one a young girl who went to the British Championships for air pistol earlier this year, and she actually made the final. But unfortunately, they changed the time of the final, and they didn't ring her, or they couldn't get hold of her to come back in time. And when she came back for what the official time was, unfortunately, it was all over, and she'd missed her chance of being in the final. So I'm training her for that, and I'm also training a one pistol shooter who 2 or 3 weeks ago managed to achieve a personal best scores. So I believe he's going off to a competition in Jersey prior to the games, and I'm advising him not to shoot his best down there, but to reserve it for when he's in the games itself.
Must be really another fulfilling side as well, though, to see the success of people that you're training.
Very good,
yes.
Yeah. As I say, there was, Eric, who's going down to Jersey, is shot his personal best, and that's getting up towards where I used to be about 20, 30 years ago.
Wow. Who do you expect from the visiting islands? Are there any islands that are particularly strong at shooting?
Yes, the islands that are very strong in shooting, shotgun-wise, it will be Åland and Gotland, and Isle of Man, and obviously Jersey for a couple of the shotgun events. There won't be anyone from Jersey, I don't think, for my event, thank goodness, but I still have to contend with these other islands who are good. The Shetland Islands are pretty good at shotgun, so I am expecting it to be rather difficult for me.
And if you look back on your previous games experiences, is any standout memories, highlights or lowlights?
Yes, there's one that does stand out, because there's in 1999 in the games in Gotland, they only had 5 islands entered for what they call the black powder cartridge competition, and which was rifle shooting. So they, being the shooting rep at the time, I said, look, okay, you had to have 6 islands to be able to put the competition on. So I said, right, enter my name. I'll be shooting pistol, but then that way you've got my name as from Guernsey, so you've got your 6th island, so that you can have your competition. And when I got there, that was fine. Didn't hear anything. I shot my pistol event, and there were 2 gentlemen standing behind me, and who said, Noel asked me to, you come with us now. And I said, no, what for? And they said, to shoot your black powder rifle competition. And I said, no, I only entered so that you could have a competition. I said, it's already over because you shot it this afternoon. No, you come with us. They hadn't posted the scores. I got to the range and they asked me where all my kit was, and I said, I don't have any. So they loaned me a rifle, they loaned me the kit. They said, well, do you know the rules? I said, no. So he said, right, so he said, you have to fire 13 shots in 30 minutes, but if you want accuracy, you have to get up and clean the gun every single shot to be able to take the old black powder residue, which would foul the barrels, and get that going. So he said, but once you are ready and you say go, you can start shooting, and the 30 minutes will start, sort of thing. So at the end of the 30 minutes, I was absolutely drenched with sweat, and I fired the last shot with 20 seconds to go, and then he came up and he patted me on the shoulder and he said, well done. I said, I was lucky to get that last shot off. And he said, well, you didn't need it. It's the best 10 out of 13. You've already won the gold medal. So that was most unexpected.
That's incredible. You must have felt elated.
I really was, yeah. I was really pleased with that. That's one of the biggest memories I've got.
Beyond the Games, proudly sponsored by SG Kleinwort Hambros Bank Limited, Guernsey branch and Jersey branch.